sao in ring shring kaela ring asakahala ring sakala ring sao ein kling ring shring Om. Namaste. So after a long time, I decided to continue the Kaivalya-Navanītam. And this is a wonderful book, highly recommended by great souls like Ramana Maharshi. And it's also a very simple book. It doesn't have a lot of difficult terminology. And it's also on the highest platform of Brahma Jnana. So this is for the Ajata-vādis, or those who are ready to become Ajata-vādis. And it's also for people who are not so much inclined towards study. And that, I think, is most everybody these days. So I'm going to continue where we left off. What was it, 2 years ago? My, how time flies. Adding the experience and realization that we've had since then. Verse 5. I adore the feet of the Holy Master, who shines forth forever as the wide expanse, which has no beginning or end or interval. And I proceed to tell you the true nature of the absolute being, to explain bondage and liberation, so that even those who are too dull to learn the scriptures may understand. Confirmed. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. I adore the feet of my master, Sri Jnāna-Shakti Swami. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of him. He is, how can I say, or was, he's passed away now. But to me, he's quite present. He is the one who inducted me into the Sri Vidya and gave me sannyas. So to him, I'm eternally grateful. And let me tell you about the kind of person he was, kind of man he was. He was a pujari in a temple in Tiruvannamalai for over 40 years. And before that, he was some kind of government servant and he had some little pension. But he saved up his money, both from his pension and from his small income at the Murugan temple. And his close disciples, who were mostly rice farmers, very simple men, he put them in business. He financed them to buy tuk-tuks, three-wheelers, and become tuk-tuk drivers in their spare time. So this is the kind of man he was. He was not at all, how can I say, on a trip, a guru trip or any other kind of trip. He was down to earth, plain spoken, very friendly, always had a kind word for everyone, and always cheerful, jolly, and often joking in Tamil, which I couldn't follow. And his English was, not academic, but it was good enough. And I could see that he was in bliss all the time. It took me several encounters, several visits to realize this. One day he came and visited me. I got a new house. And this was his habit. Whenever I got a new house, he would come and visit and bless my house. So he came to my new place at great personal effort because he had an infection in his leg. It was difficult for him to walk, but he came anyway. And he insisted on it. So he came. And he was talking with the local men who also visited when he did, because he's considered a great personality. And they were just talking about ordinary things, village gossip, really. But looking from the side, I could see that he was in bliss. The way I know was because there's certain small muscles in the eye that contract when one is in bliss and give the eyes a shining appearance. He had that. So then it hit me, because I was looking for a guru. I wanted to take sannyas, actually for a long time. But either I wasn't ready or there was some political situation or some nonsense that got in the way. So I just accepted it and moved on. And I've had many gurus, beginning with my Adi guru, my original guru, who gave me the first initiation, gave me initiation into Gayatri mantra and taught me so much of the basics of puja and japa and so many spiritual arts. And then after him, I had so many other gurus for music and energy work and this and that and so many other things. But none of them really were like a window into liberation. I think my Adi guru was liberated, but he was very, very indirect about it. He wasn't offering liberation directly. He was offering only the preliminaries. But Jnana Shakti, he was the gate. He was the door that opened up into that space for me. So I'm eternally grateful for him. And I think this series should be dedicated to him. Verse 6. All the ancient sages drew from the boundless ocean of milk, namely the Vedānta, and filled their pitchers, their works. I boiled them all on the fire of the Master's words, churned them with the churn of enquiry into the self, and I present this cream of liberation, Kaivalya-Navanīta, to all. Now, will those who have partaken of this and satisfied their hunger roam about eating the offal of externals? The Vedānta is extremely esoteric and erudite, especially Shankaracharya's commentary, because he is having to defeat all the prior commentaries as the Acharya. And so it's very difficult, unless you know a lot of context, background about the 6 systems of philosophy and so on. It's very difficult to follow. And Vedanta itself is very difficult to follow because it's written in sutra form. And the sutras are often very, very terse, just 1 or 2 words. And so you have to be able to supply the context to give them the meaning. And that's what Shankaracharya's Shariraka Bhasya, his commentary on Vedanta, actually does. But as stated in the previous verse, most people today don't have the time or ability or inclination to study the scriptures. And as the verse says, they are too dull. They have dulled the edge of their intelligence on the works of the mundane world. So they cannot, therefore, cut the deep significance of Vedanta. And of course, this is a shame, this is a tragedy, because the Vedanta gives really all the most essential principles of spiritual life, including what happens to the being after death and so on like that. Really, if you have the chance, you should read it. So what happens here is that he's extracting the essence of the Vedānta in Kaivalya-Navanītam. The author likens himself to a cowherd who takes a pitcher from the ocean of milk and then churns it. When you make butter or ghee, first you take the milk and then you sour it, and then you churn it, and all the colloids and the milk fat stick together. It becomes like cheese. And then you further process it by heating, and that extracts the essence, which is the ghee. So just as the ghee is the essence of milk, this Kaivalya-Navanītam is the essence of Vedānta. So if you know someone who can do this, if you have a source, a cowherd man or woman who knows the art of distilling the essence of the scriptures, just like the ghee is the essence of the milk, you can just take the ghee. You don't have to drink so much milk to get the same effect, to get the same nutrition. The ghee is very concentrated. It's like the blood is the essence of the cow. But the difference is taking the milk and making ghee doesn't harm the cow. So in the same way, if one is expert in the art of summarizing the scriptures, then the essence of them can be communicated in a very, very small, terse format, but without losing any of the meaning or any of the benefit. And that's what the Kaivalya-Navanītam does. It's the essence, the cream. That's what Navanītam means. It's the cream or essence of Kaivalya, which means the undisturbed, unbroken, unmodified Brahman. My friend the peacock, he listens to all this. So anyway, what he is doing here is giving basically the ghee or the essence of Vedānta. And those who take this, those who drink this ghee, then they become liberated because they know the Brahma Vidya, the essence of the truth of all scriptures. Veda means knowledge. Anta means the end or the essence. So Vedānta is the essence of the Vedas, and Kaivalya-Navanītam is the essence of that. So this is very, very highly concentrated knowledge. So he makes the point in the final sentence, which is very important. Once you have heard this, will you still go around, or once you have tasted this wonderful essence, will you still go around eating out of dumpsters? He uses the word offal, which is not a common word in English these days. But what it really means is the garbage from the slaughterhouse. He compares the external world to this kind of garbage. It's inedible trash, disgusting animal, putrid. So a person who has tasted this essence, who has really tasted it, not just as a fashion or as a social fad, but actually absorbed it into themselves and got the meaning, got the essence of it. Well, they're not going to go debase themselves by engaging in material things again. That's the difference between an authentically enlightened person and somebody who's just pretending. The enlightened person follows the principles of the scriptures, no matter what their social position might be. Maybe they have a family. Maybe they're even a king. And they do their duties, but they do them in a completely detached way. Thank you. And they don't fall into the trap of identification with externals. So that's the difference between the authentic Advaita and the Neo-Advaita, which is the current fashion. The Neo-Advaitans think, I am God, I am Brahman, that's all I need to know. That's it, I'm done, finished. And then they go on with their lives as normal. But this is not what Navanītam is saying. He is saying that once you realize this knowledge, you will become detached from all externals. Even though you may do your duty according to your social position, you will not overindulge in the pleasures of the senses. You will not become covered over again. Although it is possible, it's very rare for someone who has really realized the scriptures to again engage with the external world. So this knowledge should change you. It should take you out of the external world and give you the keys to go into the inner world of Brahman and attain liberation and remain in it forever. Aum Tat Sat. Aum Shakti Aum.